So here we have one of our Crataegus species, commonly known as hawthorn, in the Rosaceae family. And the Crataegus can actually be a fairly challenging genus to identify. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of species in North America. And that, combined with the tendency of these species to hybridize and arguments over how they should be classified, often makes this really, really challenging to identify down to the species. So some of the key characteristics of Crataegus as a genus is they are typically fairly small trees to large shrubs. They can sometimes have a single, fairly short trunk or be more thicket forming. The leaves, which again vary from species to species, are often borne on these little spur shoots. They can sometimes be lobed, as is the case for Crataegus monogyna, which is the one-seed hawthorn. Also the parsley hawthorn have these more lobed leaves. But again, that can vary from one species of Crataegus to the next. Those leaves are typically anywhere from 1 to 3 inches in length, and the margins, again, lobed or toothed. One thing that a lot of these do have in common is the fruit, which is sometimes commonly known as a haw, H-A-W, and the haw is actually a red or orangish red berry-like pome with a single, typically with a single seed. So these fruits or haws are really, really important browse species for a lot of wildlife, whether it's birds like your thrush and your cedar waxwings, small mammals, or even bears. We'll use these because these fruits will actually often still persist on the tree even when the leaves have fallen. So these pomes are considered edible raw, although they're typically cooked into jams and jellies, or even used to flavor things like your brandy or wine. The leaves are also often considered edible, although people will mostly eat them early in the spring. And in fact, there are some old European dishes where they would crush the young leaves of the Crataegus or the hawthorn and add them to pottage. Often the twigs are armed, although in the case of this particular Crataegus, they are not. And then the leaves will turn red or gold in the fall.